I'm Chrissy Boo. Probably everybody already knows me. Let's see, last time I was at the doctor was because I OD'd. And when I woke up, they had these, like, big mask shield things on because they were scared I was going to throw up on them. And gloves and all kinds of weird stuff. And, yeah, they treated me real funny because I was an addict, but actually I wasn't overdosing on heroin or anything. I overdosed on the medication they prescribed me. They prescribed me too large of an amount, and it OD'd me. And they were getting ready to shoot me up with Narcan, and I was telling them I'm not overdosing off heroin. It's the medication you guys gave me, you know. But they wouldn't listen, and they didn't shoot me with the Narcan, thank God. They ended up just shooting me with saline IVs. And then they found out that I was telling the truth, and they felt like asses. But that was the last time I was at the doctor. Kind of degrading because I'm an addict, and I guess they look down on us and stuff. You know. Oh yeah, but then they're like, and you're just a waste of time because you're not listening to us anyway, and da-da-da-da-da. I'm trying to treat people who are addicts a little bit nicer, because instead of making them want to get help or seek help for recovery, what they're going to end up doing is running from me. You know. So they're sometimes, like in the hospitals I went to, they're not real nice. So, you know, rather than going and seeing them when I want to, I only go and see them when I have to. Funny. No, but really, you know, don't treat us like we're a disease or something. You know, what we have is a mind disease, not a body disease. You know, just treat us right. Treat us like we want to be treated, like you want someone to treat you if you were in their spot. You never know, you might be someday. Everybody slips.
I was actually over the Thanksgiving Day weekend, so I kind of had to go into an emergency room because I waited so long. So, you know, and they had me laid up in there, and the doctor had to come in. You know, he had to be called in for the special emergency operation. Hey, hey, hey! This is my freaking 15 minutes of fame! I'll be interrupting it!
You're doing a good job!
Yeah, so, you know, I'm laying in pain waiting for this doctor to show up because he was out to dinner. So, you know, he probably finished his dinner. Because they said, they kept coming and saying, oh, he's on his way, he's on his way. And it was literally a couple hours. But anyways, they had cut my clothes off. And, you know, I have the CRA tattoo. And he's seen it, right? In the recovery word, and he asked me about it. And I told him that I do HIV testing and stuff, and he saw my track marks, and I used to be a drug addict and stuff. And he literally started, while I'm in pain, waiting to be cut open and my appendix taken out, was asking me how I was going to pay for this. And presented me with an option, you know, if I can come up with $500 in cash that he wouldn't bill me. You know, on paper, so to speak. So, you know, I went through the whole deal, you know, and I ended up in the hospital for a few days, and he had to pack my wound with gauze and stuff because it actually burst on the way out. So, and when he came in to literally, you know, like a magician pulls out the handkerchief, and it's all tied together, and he's talking to me about how, if I'm going to be able to come up with this $500 while he's pulling this gauze out of my gut, right? And it's just never ending, and I'm like, oh, you know, and he literally had me stapled up, and he just left a little bit hanging out, and he was pulling it out of the end, you know what I mean, the little slit. And so it was like, you know, and I'm like, oh yeah, you know what I mean? And finally, you know, it came out. That was the only trick he had for me that day. But and you know, then he tells me, you know, well, okay, in a week when they let you go, come to my office. And he was in like Cicero or Berwyn on Cermak somewhere, and you know, bring that cash. And I did. You know, I did bring him the $500 because, you know, I felt like, you know, he deserved that much. You know, he did save my life, so to speak, and he wasn't billing me, and I knew I wasn't going to pay because I didn't have $30,000 to pay the hospital. So, you know, one less bill, I'm thinking I can come up with 500. You know, if the hospital came to me with that deal, I would probably came them 500 too. Yeah, he literally recognized me to be a drug user because I have track marks and I had the recovery tattoo, and he, you know, checked into it. And I think they already knew that I wasn't, like, had the insurance, so to speak. So, yeah, he was, like, right on it. And it actually sounded like a pretty good deal to me. You know what I'm saying? It was like, you know, Thanksgiving Day weekend. It was an emergency kind of a surgery, and for $500 and saving my life, I thought I was, you know, it was worth it. So I borrowed the money and I paid him. You know, he even gave me a clean bandage when I went to his office. So, you know, I was in and out in a matter of minutes, you know, and I had to ask him for a receipt for the 500 just in case, you know. I actually have the receipt at the house, just in case, you know, he tried to pull something, you know, like sending me a bill. But yeah, paid in full, exactly. I had to actually say that to him. Put paid in full on there, on the receipt. So, you know, that's the way it worked.
The minute I mention that I'm an IV drug user, their whole facial structure changes, and their demeanor about me changes. Now I'm, like I said, I'm more of a second-class patient now. I don't seem like I get attended to as quickly, and it almost seems like nobody wants to take care of me. You know, because they don't know, does this guy got AIDS or what, or this and that, which, you know, I don't, thank God, knock on wood, but, you know, but that's, you know, that's what they're thinking automatically. It's just this, the bottom of the barrel of society type of thing, and that's, you know, and you could see in their face how they look at you the minute you mention that you're an IV drug user. You could see it. It's just so obvious how they look. They don't have to say any words. It's self-explanatory just by the look on their face. It's sad too. Yeah, it's an absolute look of disgust. It's not a look of compassion or caring or concern. Wait a minute, Mr. Peary, we're going to get you as soon as we can. It's just, you know, the doctor will be with you shortly. And their whole, like I said, their whole facial structure changes. It's just like, oh God, we've got this guy in here, an IV drug user. Just like an outcast, a bottom of society kind of a guy now. When I go in the hospital, look, I should be able to get the same medical attention and care as anybody else, you know, that comes in there. And it seems like I don't, you know. And it's the way it is. People have this this misconception, you know, that either the people that are IV drug users are evil, or they're going to steal from you, or that they have diseases, you know, something like that. You know, they automatically they have prejudged you, you know, without even knowing, because you're an IV drug user. They have no idea who you are. You know, they've already you know, made it up in their mind. You know, the nurse will turn around and she'll go, and it seems like when you get one nurse that'll attend to you initially, a nurse that'll come back won't be the same one. It'll be another one. It's almost like they get together in the coffee room and be like, well, I don't want to attend to him. I don't want to, you know, see this guy, but I'll have a different nurse come and see me. That's just how it is. You know, for whatever reasons, I should go more often than I do, but the only time I go is probably when I OD. You know, if it has to be the way things are in my life right now, it has to be on some type of emergency level is the only time I go see a physician. That's very true. You know, if I wanted to, you know, go in there and maybe I have a pain, or if I want to check myself out for whatever reason it might be, I don't at this point in my life have that opportunity to go and see Dr. So-and-so because I don't have the money and I don't have the insurance, you know. So that's why I don't see a physician like I should and would like to.
You shouldn't criticize other people for the situation that they're in, even if they got themselves into it. Because it could be you and it could be somebody that you love. And then what? You know, everyone does it, go never, not me. I would never do this or that. But you never know. You never know. I didn't grow up saying, oh, I'm going to be a dope fiend and a crackhead and I'm going to shoot dope and go sell my ass on the streets for the rest of my life. No, I didn't say that when I was a kid. So it's not like I planned this. You know what I'm saying? Or when I go to jail, everybody's always like, oh, you're back. I'm like, oh yeah, I showed up on the front door. I had nowhere else to go. I was just dying for a bologna sandwich. And, you know, 3 hats and a cat. I had to come here to get the best bologna in town. I like being locked in my room 3 times a day, you know. Lock me down, please. Take all my privileges. I don't want them.
How many times have you been to